What's up, 47 brethren? It is your boy Kid Rex back with another reaction video. And today, I will be reacting to 3 disturbing real basement horror stories by Mr. Nightmare. This was also requested to react to Mr. Nightmare videos. So I'm starting off with this one off of his channel. Don't forget to subscribe to Mr. Nightmare's channel for more videos, of course. So I'm always interested to hear horror stories, just to see other people's perspectives of what they went through, because I find it very interesting, and also it keeps me aware just in case any similar stuff will happen to me. Hopefully not, but so this is Basement Horror Stories. Now, I've never lived in a house where it had a basement, thank God. But if I were to live in a house with a basement, I would always be scared to go downstairs. It's something about a basement that's always creepy. Any movie or any scary movie or any horror video game, something about the basement you never want to go down to. It's always the basement. You'll go anywhere else, just not basement. So we're about to get into this. Before I do, the link to the original video will be in the description, of course. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Also hit the notification bell just in case you guys don't know when I'm uploading. And go and check out my AMV. It's called An Overdose of Yang. Should be up on the channel now by the time this video is uploaded. So go check that out. And yeah, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get it started. So 3, 2, 1, and start. Hold the volume up. 1 and 2 anonymous. Story 3 Kevin something. I'm not reading that.
When my grandparents passed away, instead of my parents selling her house, they just let me live in it instead, since I was of moving out age anyway. I just had to pay the taxes and monthly expenses.
That's good. That's nice.
At first, I really enjoyed living alone, given that I could have whoever I wanted over whenever I wanted.
That's probably the
But
best.
it quickly got lonely being alone. So I got myself a 2-year-old German Shepherd dog named Rocky. He was named after Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
Rocky's a very calm and gentle German Shepherd. He hardly ever barks, only when he feels threatened or if he's playing with another dog. I bought him a doggy bed the day after I adopted him and put it next to my bed. After I got Rocky, I always left the bedroom door open so that he could go get water at night if he were thirsty. One night soon after I adopted Rocky, I woke up to his barking coming from outside my room and down the hallway. I dizzily got out of bed to check what the hell he was barking at. I rubbed my eyes as I walked down the hallway, and when I opened them, I saw Rocky maniacally barking and clawing at the basement door. I didn't know what to do. Usually I'd call my dad to deal with something like this, but now it was on me, and I was terrified. I had to ask myself if I wanted Rocky to go down there with me, and I quickly realized there was no chance of me going down there alone.
Right.
I opened the door ever so lightly, but it was enough for Rocky to push it open with his nose and run down the stairs.
The dog
I
don't
flipped
care.
on the lights and followed close behind. Rocky was silent now, which I found a bit concerning. I looked around for him, calling his name, and then I saw him standing still, with his tail between his legs, looking up at something in an opposite corner of the room that was blocked by a wall.
Oh, hell no.
Rocky looked at me, and his tail slightly raised as I approached him. I could now see what he was looking at. It was a closet door. Rocky's apparent bout of confidence was obviously short-lived, and he seemed to be back to his calm and timid self.
Hell.
All that was passing through my mind at that moment was, do I dare open this closet door right now? And who or what could be in there?
No.
I didn't know Rocky too well just yet, but I had a feeling he wouldn't attack whoever or whatever was in there.
Yeah, because whatever's in there,
I'm still not sure whether I made the right move or not.
Leave that
but
nigga
instead of
in
opening that closet door, I took Rocky by the collar and walked with him back upstairs. He kept looking back at the corner of the basement until we got to the stairs. I shut the basement door and then dragged him back to my bedroom and shut the bedroom door. Then I went to the kitchen to call my dad. I had to call 3 times before he finally picked up in a groggy voice. I explained the situation and asked him what I should do. He said I should go back down there with a huge knife or some kind of weapon and see what's in the closet.
Nigga, what? No!
I told him I was too scared to. And somewhere deeper into that conversation with my dad, I realized the basement door was open. I put the phone down for a second to listen to what I thought were footsteps.
Oh,
I was right.
Hell no.
Loud and clear were footsteps heading towards the front door. I ran to my bedroom and told my dad. He told me to hang up the phone and call the cops, and so I did.
That should have been the first
thing. By the time
the
cops showed up, though, whoever was in the house was obviously gone already. Unfortunately, I left a large amount of cash down there by the bar. All of it was gone.
Of course, it's all gone.
The basement window was wide open, so we found the method of entry pretty quickly. Just turned out to be a break-in burglary when I happened to be home.
Okay, wow. Okay, so, alright, okay, that was just a burglar. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's not too scary.
This story took place just 2 weeks ago.
It was supernatural
I've always had a fear of basements since I was a kid.
Nah.
Now that I'm 18, my fear is obviously subdued a little bit, but I still will glance over my shoulder to any noise I may hear behind me. And I might get that slight butterfly in my stomach feeling when I'm alone. Well, on this cold Friday night, I was home alone, and since our biggest TV is in the basement, that's where I'd usually chill, especially to play video games.
Hey.
I was playing Fortnite with my friends, some crazy popular first-person shooter game. I had headphones in and I was really invested in the game. Yet even over the loud sound effects through the headphones, I knew I heard something come from behind me, like a thump. I took off the headphones and examined the back of the basement. Now our basement is huge, but also extremely cluttered and messy. If I wanted to actually thoroughly examine what's behind me, I'd have to get up, that's how bad it is. But I didn't feel that were necessary. Yeah, I found it a bit unsettling any time I heard a noise, but I really didn't think it was anything to be concerned about. I tried to continue playing, however I wasn't able to give my full focus anymore, not with part of me constantly thinking about the noise. I took off the headphones and played with them off just because I was feeling extra paranoid and wanted to hear my surroundings.
Makes sense.
Shortly after taking off the headset, there was a sudden clank sound, and it had a metallic, echoey ringing to it. I turned off the system now because I was in shock. This was an intentional sound made by someone or something. I walked really, really slowly to the backside of the basement.
I think it's an animal.
When I laid eyes on the big metal air vent in the corner, that's when it hit me, that was most likely the source of the sound.
It's gotta be an animal.
I got as close as I felt comfortable, then stopped and just looked at the air vent for a second. I got a terrible, painful feeling in my stomach, and I felt like the life was literally being drained out of me when I saw a hand reach out from the air vent and start waving me over. Then a deep, raspy voice said, "Come here, I need help."
Fuck no!
At first I didn't run. I just gradually stepped backwards with my mouth hung open, looking at the vents. The person's hands gripped the vent and started shaking it aggressively, obviously trying to break it open. I screamed, "I'm calling the cops," but the shaking didn't stop. I did what I said. I called the cops and told them to send someone right away. The operator told me to go to a room upstairs with a weapon, lock the door, and hide. I was the most scared I'd ever been in my entire life.
Shit, I'd be scared too.
And the pain and fear of the situation only became worse when I heard a door bust open downstairs, and I could hear a maniac screaming at the top of his lungs. I'm not lying when I said he was screaming things like, "Where are you? I'm gonna kill you." I heard him run up the stairs. He probably ran up 2 stairs for every step, because he was up the stairs in like 3 seconds.
God damn!
My heart was in my throat when he tried the doorknob to the door, and started pounding on it so hard I could see the door caving in a little bit. I thought he was actually gonna break the door down. I had to climb out the window or I'd be a goner. I think he heard me though, because the banging stopped. I jumped from the window to the bushes below, and with the right stroke of luck, a cop car pulled up in front of my house. I basically ran into the officer's arms, begging them to go inside and get the man. They told me to wait in the police car, which they locked, while they both went inside the house with their guns drawn. Not even 5 minutes later, the 2 officers came out and they were holding the man in cuffs. The man in
Wow.
cuffs took my place in the back seat of the cop car, and from that moment until the cops drove away, he was giving me the most evil, hate-filled stare you could ever imagine. That stare still haunts me. The whole experience still haunts me. I still hang out in the basement occasionally, but nowhere near as much.
That's fucking terrifying. All this nigga wanted to do was play video games, and then that happens. Nope. Oh no. Glad I don't have a basement.
The story I'm about to tell you is a series of blurry memories from when I was a little kid. We were living in our old house. My brother and I always hung out in the basement where our dad has his hockey table, pool table, and video games. We usually played on his Super Nintendo system,
Hey.
but at some point, I don't remember when it started, my brother and I would hear things come from the boiler/laundry room. The first time this happened though, my brother and I were playing some racing game on Super Nintendo. That was when we both heard it. The door to the dryer slammed shut. We knew that's what the sound was. We both called out Mom, figuring maybe she'd been in there the whole time without us realizing. But the room was dark and empty of any people. When we realized this, we both ran upstairs screaming for our parents, leaving everything downstairs still on. Our parents came down to humor what they probably thought was just our dumb childish antics, and
I
nobody
swear,
was in
bro,
the laundry room.
You can't be doing that.
Moving along probably a few months, I was awake late one night for whatever reason, walking to the kitchen, passing the basement door, and remember hearing the TV downstairs turn on. It was one of those big old box TVs, so it made that distinct
The
clicking
dinosaur
sound
TV.
as it turned on. I called Mom, Dad, and my brother's name. No one answered. I went to my parents' room to tell them, and they were both upset with me for waking them. My dad went downstairs to turn off the TV, and I remember him telling me it's a glitchy TV. There were a couple
Glitchy
other suspicious happenings after that, but I'll move forward all the way to the last occurrence.
So a
and
glitchy
honestly,
TV
the
turns
most
on by
horrific.
itself.
It was a few days before we were going to move to
Get
our
out.
new house. Just about everything in the house was already shipped to the new house, but our parents were nice and let us keep the TV and video games downstairs until the last few days. My brother and I were once again playing video games. That's when I felt something hit me in the back of the head. I thought it was my brother at first, but then saw the red ball bouncing on the ground behind the couch we were on. Then the door to the boiler room slowly shut as my brother and I looked at each other with horrified looks on our faces.
Fuck no.
Once again, we ran upstairs screaming. Our parents once again went downstairs, but when they came back up, they were strangely silent. They told us to go to our rooms and wait there. A while later, a police car showed up, but our parents wouldn't let us out of our rooms. They wouldn't tell us what happened until we finally moved. Apparently, my dad tried to open the boiler room door, but something was holding it shut, or perhaps pulling it shut. Even so long ago, I could sense fear in my dad's voice explaining it. I don't believe in ghosts, but to this day, I still don't know what to make of what was going on in that basement.
Oh, hell nah. No. That's creepy, bro. No, bro. No. Oh,
Yeah.
hell nah.
Yeah.
So that was the 3 basement horror stories by Mr. Nightmare. Alright, so let's look at it. The first story wasn't too bad because, that was just a simple burglary, I mean, you'll still be scared in that situation, but, it's just a nigga taking shit. So, obviously, I know he was mad that all his money was taken, but at least your wife won't take it, you feel me? So, usually, if your dog is barking at something, usually it's something or somebody actually there. He's not just barking at nothing. At least that's what I think. But the other 2 horror stories though, niggas hiding in vents and shit, niggas hiding in boiler rooms, boy. That last one's very creepy, cause Hey, look, you play your video games down in the basement. That's all. That's on you, bro. Me, I can't. I have to be in my room to play video games. I'm not playing video games anywhere else. I don't know what kind of parents y'all had that made y'all play. Well, I mean, I understand, you know, the basement is kind of like your own little area because, you know, usually people don't go down to the basement like that unless it's like for a specific reason. So maybe they got more privacy down in the basement, but hell no, bro. And for them to be that shook in the third story and not tell their kids what they actually probably saw, because I'm sitting there looking like, you don't believe in ghosts? Nigga, what did you see? Like, I want to know. Because that shit, that's what I say, that shit, hell no. Hell no. I'm glad in the second story though they arrested the dude, because that could have been way worse for him. He sounded like he was determined to kill old boy, and it's a good thing he got out just in time, and the cops got there just in time, because it could have been we probably would have even never heard the story, because that nigga would have been dead, you know. But yeah, comment down below, let me know what you guys thought about this story. Which one of these three stories was the most terrifying for you? To me, I'm gonna say 3, because like I said, you know, if it's an actual person, it's not as scary, even though it's still terrifying to have some other nigga in your house. But if it's a supernatural entity, fuck that. Story 3, terrifying. So let me know what the most terrifying story is for you. Make sure you hit that like button, and I will see you guys in the next video. So peace, my 47 brethren.
I should explain to you exactly what it is that I do.
Kirk Knight, what up? Yeah. So